again, inside the old shack. Now I've got, for those of you that are interested in radio things, now I've got some bits and bobs here that I've just gone and picked up, because, do you remember I said about that guy, Paul, that recently died? Well, basically we're selling, you know, he didn't have any family, like I said before, so, you know, all his stuff's having to be sold in order to pay for his funeral. And I've already bought quite a lot of it, but I've got quite a lot more here that I'm going to have to sell on for that purpose. I've been and picked it up. It was Mr. Kevin very kindly jammed it all into this bag, and quite a lot of it has not got damaged, but I would say it's put a few marks on a few things, but there you go. So what I've done is I've organised everything into a nice box. Some of this stuff I'm going to be keeping for myself, because I have paid for everything, and I have paid for everything. So what we're going to do, I'll just show you all of it, because it's interesting stuff, you know? A lot of it's quite old. In here is just what's left. Oh look, we've got an antenna switch. Put that in there. But here we just appear to have some mounting brackets for radios, some antenna mounts, and an old car aerial. There's nothing very interesting in there. But in this box, you know, we've got a lot of interesting things that really take my eye. I think I'll be keeping this for myself. It's a very nice, I don't know whether it works. All this has got to be tested yet. I've got to put all this in line and test everything yet. But we have here, it's a power SWR meter and a tuner. A Eurosonic model 178. I currently also have here, in much better condition, the same, but it's model 171. It's just a power SWR meter. But here we have the probably the bigger brother, the 178, tunes as well, and it measures up to a power of 100 watts. The little switches are a little bit stiff. It needs a clean up. I'm probably going to take it apart, put a bit of switch cleaner inside, give it all a clean up, and hopefully it will work. You know, fingers crossed, because if it doesn't, the local rig doctor's not doing much at the minute, so I'm going to have to try and fix things myself if it doesn't work, which, you know, I'm always eager to learn. And what else we got in here? Very interesting. We've got a Morse key, which you know, when I first saw it and I see the pictures and I heard about it, I thought, blimey, that's a nice Morse key, I'll have that. But now I've got it here, it's well, it's pretty much a pile of junk, I think. I don't really think I might better get it working. I thought it was going to be a bit better quality than what it is. It turns out it's just a cheap one. I don't even think it's an actual key. I think it's probably a practice key. I'm not entirely sure. So there you go. I won't be able to transmit any Morse just yet. I'm on the lookout for a nice Morse key, so we'll see what I can find. We've got that antenna switch here. I've got loads of these. This will be going up for sale. I'll have to test it first to make sure it works. I should think it would do. It's just it's a Targi Mod V2 Morse key. Lovely. I've got a microphone in here. I'm not really quite sure. I've never seen a microphone like this before. It doesn't have a plug on the end of it. It's got some kind of, that's obviously the PPT switch there, a PTT switch, the little LED, and a switch. I don't know what that switch does, no idea. The microphone is an ME Milbank. Might be a good microphone, I don't know. I don't really know a lot about them kind of microphones. Is that the same switch? It's the same switch. I'll put it back in the box. Here we've got a basically a fuse. That's all this is. It's just a fuse. Electronic fuse, over voltage protection unit for communications equipment. It doesn't say, you know, to what it's rated to, so I really have no idea. All it says is input 12 to 14 volts. It doesn't tell you when it protects up to, you know. So I'm assuming if the voltage goes over 14 volts, then this will cut in and stop and cut out the voltage or whatever. I have no idea. I might even keep this for myself, actually, because if it works, it will come in handy to have in line. To have it coming from my PSU to the power distribution board, just in case, if it works. I currently just have fuses there, but if this works, then you know it might come in handy. This is just a microphone. It's been taken to bits. You know, someone's going to have to repair it. Something communications. It's got no plug on the end of it either. What we've got here? I don't know what this is actually. I'm assuming it's some kind of voltmeter because it's got two of these type plugs on the end, and I don't know what it's for. I really don't. Bat, which obviously means battery, off, high and low. The lighting in here is not very good, so the camera's not really picking up things very well, but there you go. Filter, in and out. Yeah, I don't know what this is for, but there you go. A lot of this stuff is really old, so who knows. What we got here? We got a reverberator. A reverberator. I don't know. Whatever that says. Yeah, obviously that just adds a bit of reverb to your voice. A bit like an echo chamber. I'm going to be testing that out. If it works, I might keep it because I like to. A lot of people don't like echo and reverb, and I like to wind people up with that when I'm on CB. Now I don't know what this is. It appears to have a coax cable on the end of it. A male one, and two red terminals on here. I have no idea what this is. It doesn't have any writing on it whatsoever. It's just a box. At first I thought it might be a dummy load. It could be a dummy load. But I don't know why it's got the male one on the end of it. I really don't know what this is. If anyone knows what this is, just let me know. It's just a white box with a coax with a male plug and two terminals. Like I said, I don't have any idea what this is. I'll have to take it apart and see what's inside to try and find out what it is, basically. What else we got in here then? We've got a Kenwood microphone in pretty dirty condition. I've had plenty of these in the past. Nice microphones if it works. It doesn't have a plug on the end though, which is unfortunate, because when it comes to me and wiring microphones, I do not have much luck. I usually end up wiring them the wrong way, and then we get all kinds of problems. And we have a low pass filter. Everyone loves a low pass filter. I don't have any in line in my shack. Apparently this one was hooked up and put more than 100 watts through it, so it might be cooked. I'm going to have to take it apart and have a look inside and test it out before I put it for sale. But it will be up for sale if it works. There's no guarantee that this was the one that was actually cooked. Who knows? It's just a rumour. A lot of this stuff's been passed around through people because there's a lot of dishonest people about. This one is an antenna tuner, or matcher as they're also known. Model AM28. Trans and antenna. Basically, bypass or through and match. Tune and load. A very simple and basic antenna tuner. I don't know whether these ones work or not, you know, being probably quite cheap, but I'd imagine it's very old, probably from the 70s or 80s. Yeah, just a matcher. If it works, I'll test it and put it in line and test it. If it works, it'll be up for sale. You know, comes in handy for portable use, mobile use, whatever, you know. So there you go. Here appears to be a voice activator, CBE 2003. Not quite sure what this actually does, to be honest with you. It's got a microphone cable on the end of it. I'm not sure what it does. I'm imagining it just makes your voice a bit louder, puts a bit of power beyond your voice. I'm really not sure what a voice activator does. Sensitivity and power. I'm going to have to test it out and see what happens. requires 12 volts and plugs into your microphone slot in your radio. I actually can't think of it. Where does the... If that bit plugs into your... If this plugs into your radio, like that, yeah, where does your microphone plug in, eh? I don't know how that works. Oh, mic. Look. Mic. So obviously it's not for standard microphones then, is it? You can put a little thingamajig plug on the end of it. Oh well, never mind. I won't be testing that out because I don't have a microphone with them plugs, so that's going to have to be sold as spares or repairs. What we got here? A Vox unit. Look at that. Lovely. That's proper old school. That is a bit of Vox unit. HS10 SA. Basically just a Vox unit, as it says on the tin. Bit of Voxing. Everyone loves a Vox. I actually hate Vox. I don't use it. This is what plugs into your radio, into the Vox outlets on your radio. I don't use Vox. It's a load of rubbish. I'd rather just key up myself manually. What we got here? Another reverberator. Another one. This one's just got power, max and minimum on it. It doesn't have a microphone on the end of it, so I'll have to try and wire it. Then we've got 2 voltmeters, 1 voltmeter there, just a voltmeter by the looks of things, nothing else, just a voltmeter, simple as that, simple dimple. And this one is looking very old school, power, SWR, mod, volt and disc meter. Well, there you go, that's what it is, simple as that. 2 terminals on the top, and it just plugs in the back. And it obviously measures your power, your SWR and all that rubbish. And here appears to be an ATU of some sort, joy match, so it's just another antenna matcher. That's probably the inductor there, I would have thought, or something of that kind, and that's probably the antenna side. I'm not sure. Never come across one of those before in my life. Right, so I'm just going to put all these back in the box, and then we'll move on to the more exciting things which I got in the box. Right, I've got an array of things as well. This was the sort of bigger pile of things I got. This isn't the box what this is supposed to be in, I don't think, but here we go. It's a nice Zatagi HP series antenna tuner as well, or match. I don't like to call it a match. It's a mod HP 1000 trans match. 10 watts, 100 watts, or a kilowatt, or ROS. It's got a little button on top there, which I'm assuming is for the light, as it does require 12 volts, and it must be lighted in there, the meters. And yeah, it's in very, very good condition, so I'm hoping it's going to work, because I'm going to use this myself. I'm just going to use it as a power and SWR meter. I don't need to use the tuner on it, but it's there just in case I do. I've got plenty of tuners, but there you go. This appears to be a 2-meter radio with a strange looking microphone I've never seen before in my life. A Philips microphone. This is going to go, I'm going to give it a good old clean up. It's obviously been sat around. This guy had loads of equipment sitting around doing nothing. This might have even been Kevin's himself, I'm not entirely sure. It's a Maltese 700 EX. You know, it does work apparently. He's had it working, but I don't know. I never tested it myself. I'm going to test it before I put it up for sale, but it will be up for sale. It's just a pure only 2-meter radio as far as I know. Doesn't do anything else. 2 meters FM PLL transceiver. Very nice if it works, which I'm sure it does. Here in a bit better condition we appear to have a Zodiac. Oh, let me get the camera off my hand there so I can get it down at a better view. There we go. It appears to be a Zodiac M244. Never seen one in my life. Don't know what it does. All I do know is it's a radio. Appears to be a CB radio. I've got an inkling that it's only AM. I think it's possibly only AM because there is no AM FM switch which gives me the impression it's AM only given the age, but it could be FM. I'm going to have to test it and find out what it transmits on. There is nothing on the radio that tells me the mode it transmits on, apart from PR27GB, which I do not think means anything in particular. But you never know, we'll have to have a look and find out. But like I said, I think it's AM only. But this will be cleaned up, tested, no matter what. I can obviously use AM, it doesn't matter. It's okay, so I'll test it, find someone to talk to, and if it works, it'll be up for sale. And then I think I've already got a buyer for these. So we've got a set of Zatagi MOD B300Ps. A little bit dusty, but they're going to be cleaned up. They've already been serviced. They've been sent off to the local rig doctor there, Mr. Saddle Tramp, and they've had holes drilled in for someone's obviously screwed a fan to them at some point. I don't think Paul used them, but they've got 6 settings. Now I'm going to have to look up the specifications and I'm going to have to test them, but they've been serviced and they're working perfectly well, fully working, been serviced, everything's been you know, tested, but I can't remember what they do. Someone that I spoke to reckons they do 100 FM and 300 SSB, which I don't believe. Personally, I reckon they do more in FM. I reckon they're going to be doing about 150 to 200 FM, but we're going to have to find out what the 300Ps do. I'll have to look at the specifications on the interweb, and then I'll do a test. I might even use these tonight mobile, who knows. If I do, you'll see a video to see how they go. But there you go. So yeah, man, we've got quite a lot of interesting stuff from here. I've actually bought and paid for it all purely, I got it quite cheap, purely because, you know, it was sitting there doing nothing and it's going to have to go up for sale. So I'm going to sell it, everything apart from a couple of meters. So if any of you are interested in anything that I've shown here, apart from these, because these are already sold as far as I know, a friend of mine who lives in Kent, is going to get up on the radio for the first time ever. He's quite young, he's younger than me, and he wants to be able to speak around to all of us lot over here, so these are sold. But yes, if you want anything, let me know, and we'll arrange postage. You know, I can post around the world, and I will post around the world, but it'll have to be, you know, proper courier and insured and everything. But there you go. So a lot of interesting stuff, and I just thought I'd share that with you because a lot of it's old school, and I love the old school stuff, man. And all this new stuff don't meet the old school stuff. Old school is the way forward.